right, we've got two baby African penguins. This one is the youngest one. He's 57 days old, and this one's 61 days old. They were hatched here at Busch Gardens, and they were actually transported down to us from the Georgia aquarium as eggs. And when they arrived here, we incubated them, and then have been hand feeding them ever since they hatched. Now it's kind of a neat process to go through. When they hatch out, we have to kind of assimilate the diet that their parents would feed them, and it's a nasty, stinky, smelly mixture that we have to mix up. We mix in a couple different kinds of fish based on nutrition, mix in some krill and different vitamins for them to make sure they get what they need to grow properly. And we'll blend that all up, and then we'll tube feed them for about the first 3.5 to 4 weeks. And then we start introducing small pieces of fish until they graduate up to whole pieces of fish, which hopefully they're going to take for me here in a little bit and let you guys see how they eat. And then we'll actually continue hand feeding them their entire life. That's just so we can monitor their weight as they grow. We do that with all our penguins here. And that tells us also when they're going to be getting ready to molt. Now, when penguins molt, they lose all their feathers at one time. They have to rejuvenate their feathers every year. And it typically happens about the same time every year. Now, these guys actually do have feathers starting to come in underneath all this fluffy down you see. They're starting to get in on their, losing their down on their wings and on their tail. By the time they're about 3 months old, they should have all their baby feathers showing. And feathers are important for a penguin. It doesn't help them fly, since penguins don't fly, but we say they fly in the water. But the feathers are important for them, because without their feathers, they can't swim and control their buoyancy in the water, which would make it difficult for them to get away from predators such as sharks and fur seals. And when they get those feathers in, when they're about 90 days old, they'll start learning how to swim. Now, with our babies, we kind of help them learn how to swim. We start them off in a kiddie pool, and then they graduate up to bigger pools, and eventually get put in with the rest of the penguins out there. And it could take anywhere from a day to a month to get them introduced properly. But we don't think it's going to be a problem with ours, because when penguins are small, little, usually once they leave the parents after about 90 to 120 days, they join other penguins in cliques about their same age, and will stay with them for about 2 years in the groups. Until then, they start pairing off for breeding. So most of our penguins that we have on habitat right now, they range from 7 months old to 1.5 years. So we're hoping that the introduction goes pretty smoothly, and it should. Now, getting back to the molt, when they do that molt, throughout the year, they have to waterproof their feathers also. They have a little gland right at the top of the base of their tail that excretes oil. And they'll excrete that oil and then clean their body with it to help waterproof their body. So that helps them also in the water. What it helps them in the water for, they'll trap air underneath their feathers, and those oily feathers will help hold the air between their fat layer and their feathers. And then they'll release the air in order to dive deeper into the water. So it's kind of neat. Just kind of like if you're a diver and you want to go lower, you control your buoyancy compensator. So kind of similar type of situation for penguins. Now there's 17 different species of penguins worldwide. All of them live south of the equator. I know a lot of people, when they think of penguins, they think of cold weather, Antarctica. But there's actually 2 species of penguins that live in Antarctica all year long, emperor and Adelie penguins. Emperors are the largest penguins of all the 17 species. But most of the penguins, like African penguins, prefer warmer weather most of the year. There's 3 other species that are in the same group as African penguins. One that lives in the Galapagos Islands, which is a species that lives closest to the equator. And then 2 species that live in South America. One on the west coast, the Humboldt penguins, and on the east coast, the Magellanic penguins. And there's little blue penguins, the smallest species, full grown. They're about the size of what these babies are right now. They live in Australia and New Zealand. And then the other 10 species are what we call subantarctic penguins that go for cold and warm weather, depending on the season. African penguins are highly endangered. 100 years ago, there was estimated to be over 1.5 million penguins in the wild, African penguins. Today, there's less than 55,000. It's like a 90% decrease over that 100-year span. That's not a good thing for penguins. But there's a lot of causes for that. One, of course, habitat destruction, overfishing, takes their food away, climate change, the areas, the stream, the Gulf streams, the ocean streams that they feed in, the fish prefer more cooler weather, cooler water. So the fish have to travel further to get to that cool water, and as the penguins have to travel further to get their food. There's about 2,500 species of fish. Also, other reasons for the decline is egg poaching and guano collecting. Years ago, they used to have factories that would turn the penguins' guano into fertilizer. That's pretty much takes away a lot of their habitat for their nesting areas. 30 years ago, African penguins used to breed on about 25 different islands off of the coast of South Africa. Because of that guano collecting and the fur seal population, they've been moved. There's only about 5 islands they currently breed off of, and 3 breeding colonies on shore in South Africa. So the guano collecting really did a lot of taking away their habitat. That's no longer done. There actually used to be a big guano factory on one of their main breeding colonies off of South Africa called Danson Island. And they actually turned that factory now into a research facility. So it's kind of neat. Now there is one organization in South Africa called SANCCOB. It's SANCCOB. That acronym stands for South African Foundation for the Conservation of Shorebirds. And Busch Gardens SeaWorld Conservation Fund contributes money to that organization. And actually people from SeaWorld Busch Gardens have gone and interned there and helped out over the years. And they do a lot of rehabilitation. And recently, just over the past 5 years, they've started collecting eggs that were abandoned or before they were able to be poached, and incubate them and start hand raising them. And this past year, they've hand raised over 600 African penguin baby chicks. And by the time they're 1.5 years old, they will be released back into the wild. So they're doing great work down there, and again, it's part of Busch Gardens SeaWorld Conservation Fund. I'm going to see if these guys will eat from me right now. Really good. Now we've got, you see they each have a band on their wing. They don't have any names yet. We call them Black and Blue. That's why the black band is a blue band. We know the sex of this one. This one's a boy, but we still haven't agreed on a name for him yet. And the other one will give him a name as soon as we figure out what sex it is. Now, I call him Turk. He was born on Thanksgiving Day, short for turkey. Now, this is a treat for you guys. This is the first time they've actually taken a whole fish.
Yay!
So, a good graduation step for him. Anybody have any questions for me? I can ramble for hours about penguins. So. Any questions? Yes.
How big is the egg?
The egg is about the size of a small goose egg. A little bigger than a chicken egg.
So it's grown out in just 2 months, I guess.
Pardon?
It's grown to those size in just 2 months.
Yeah, they're 2 months old.
How many eggs will the mom have?
They will typically lay 2 eggs. They're not always both fertile. For first-time breeders in the wild, the first one is usually infertile, and the second one will be fertile, and then after that, they typically will have 2 fertile eggs. Now, it's kind of neat about African penguins, like Antarctic penguins, emperor penguins are monogamous. If one of the mate dies, they're going to be single for the rest of their life. African penguins are a little different. As long as the male is performing his duties and produces fertile eggs, the female will keep him. If she starts producing infertile eggs after years, after a couple of years, she'll divorce him and find another mate.
How often do they lay?
Once a year. They'll breed once a year.
Do you think these penguins will end up in Antarctica?
African penguins are
African penguins come
species
through.
that will have different breeding seasons throughout the year. They will breed a couple times a year. I mean, they'll only give one clutch a year, but other penguins may not breed early in the year. They might breed later in the year. Nope. Any more questions? All right, if there's no more question, Bethany's gonna have some controlled chaos up here for you guys, give instructions so they come up and take pictures. If you can, just keep the noise down. Don't come up very close. No fast movements. They've been coming out just a couple weeks now, and we're just trying to get used to guests. Thank you.
And so
They're so adorable.
fertile.
Pardon?
They have.
Well, yes, that's like their goggles for when they're
Interesting. That's good.
nictitating membrane.
So they actually were laid in Georgia but hatched here. So because they are critically endangered species, survival.
What do you think about penguins?
They're the most adorable things ever.
What do you think about baby penguins?
Even more adorable.
Are these the most adorable penguins ever?
Yeah, besides Mr. Penguin.
No, besides Mr. Penguin.
How fluffy they look.
Alright, well, thanks for checking out our video, guys. And hopefully you don't unsubscribe because of it.
I'm betting people do. Oh, what's someone doing?
What are they doing?
Doing adorable stuff because they're baby penguins.
If you want to see more theme park videos or more baby penguin videos,
Well, baby penguins is probably check somewhere else.
yeah, our videos, feel free to like us on Facebook.
Oh, they're doing this.
I think you should name the male Shecky LaRue.
Shecky LaRue?
Shecky LaRue.
Shecky LaRue.
Shecky LaRue. It's a good strong male for a penguin.
And also watch our other YouTube videos and subscribe and like this video and make sure you post comments about how adorable baby penguins are. Right?
Yeah. Look at their baby penguin noises. They sound like squeeze toys for little dogs.
They'll have the nice feathers. They have the ones that we have
They
are
are so cute.
So that eventually, after 4 years, it's taken to get the feathers.